Hello! I hope you're doing well. Sorry for my lateness. I can't find my intro, so you've just got me tonight. Um, yeah, hope you're well. I know it's a funny time, a bit late for the UK and maybe a bit too early for the US, but welcome. Sophie and anyone else who is going to join us, is able to join us tonight. Right, sorry, that not having my intro has kind of thrown me out of what I was going to say. So I wanted to do this stream tonight on clothing love stories, and I call it that because ever since I've sort of been in the ethical space, we've always had this thing to talk about what you sort of like clothes that you love to wear, putting together with sort of accessories and things like that to make up the whole outfit, and in kind of doing that and telling the stories of kind of history that you might have with a garment, should that the aim is to deepen that love and that sort of impact of said garment, to sort of renew the wearing as such. Sorry, I'm going around things in circles, but yeah, to sort of instill the love of the garment and to repeat to yourself and others why you love it. Maybe stories about when you last wore it, a date, a wedding, whatever, and yeah, and kind of sort of your journey through life with said garment. I, for one, have many. A lot of my clothes are kind of 15 years plus old. And yeah, and I've sort of kept them over all these years, and have many a happy memory with a fair few bits, to be honest. So yeah, so it's really nice. But anyone that is watching, if you want to sort of put in the chat that you can obviously hear me, because I'm a bit conscious that yeah, I'm actually being heard, because for whatever reason my nice mic that I have isn't connecting. So this is going through my camera, so I hope that you can hear me well. Also apologise for my croaky voice and the sort of concentration of being able to look at the camera, because I kind of also want to see the computer. I get a bit nervous of kind of how I maybe look on camera. Not in a oh look at me way, but just like a self-conscious way. So yeah, so kind of yeah, I'm sure I'll be able to see the live chat as it comes up. I always get a bit worried. So yeah, anyway, I will proceed. Yeah, so to go into my own story of what I'm wearing, this dress, I'll give you a little twirl, is like a knee length skirt, kind of a pleated skirt, on a sheer top, that I just sort of like put a vest top on underneath. And I got this at a vintage store, one of my favourite haunts to go. And yeah, and I've had this for maybe 6 years, I reckon. Now it is polyester as a cloth, so not sort of my fave, but I love the colours. I love this sort of really unusual kind of print. It's almost like a zebra print. I'm saying it the American way, zebra. And yeah, very versatile and easy to wear. But yeah, it's just not my favourite because obviously polyester is not breathable and can be quite sort of hot in sort of warmer months. But yeah, but I really love it. And sort of the sleeves and things. It's kind of, when I first got it, I thought that I might take the sleeves in a bit, so they're not so floaty. But actually, like the more I wear it, the more I really like the floatiness. Now, and I've put it with this rather sparkly, if you can tell how sparkly it is. Nice little bow. This is gold. And yeah, and this is kind of sort of generally how I wear it, because I have like taken it in a bit, but actually my weight can sort of fluctuate sometimes. So yeah, so sometimes I'll like take things writing and then have to like let them out again. So obviously a belt is always good to just cinching, and then you can sort of let it out when you've had a little bit of food. Because I am an eater. And yeah, so that is one of my favourite pieces. Story behind it. So I can't actually exactly remember what shop I bought it from, but I reckon it might be a vintage store on Brick Lane in London. It's in the east of London. One of my fave fave sort of streets for especially when they have the market on at the weekend. It's just like, yeah, you can sort of find all sorts of different things there, which I really like. I actually wore this last Saturday for a friend's birthday, in exactly the same way with the belt and everything. Now it was a garden party, which was lovely with barbecue, but it actually was so much warmer than what I thought that day. So yeah, it was quite a warm one in this, but yeah, it was really nice. And yeah, and then I just put it on just before this stream because I wasn't wearing it today. Because again, today was a warm day, so I was actually just in a vest top. So I thought that wasn't very interesting for this kind of stream. Other events that I've worn it to, just every day, you know, sort of down at Tesco. Other shops are available, and yeah, and then probably sort of other kind of you know, sort of cocktail evenings and things like that. It's really nice for. And yeah, and then that's it really. Sort of, I just yeah, I just really like it. Sort of, it's not one that I've kind of will be like, oh yeah, I did, you know, sort of like such and such an event on, obviously, unless it's like the one the other weekend because it's so new. But yeah, I just love it because it's so just such an easy dress to put on, really. And yeah, so that's why I love it. I have sort of like quite a few kind of standout pieces, you know, sort of with bolder colours and patterns that I just generally like to wear any time really. It doesn't need to be a particular event or moment happening for me to wear something. I always like to walk out the door feeling my best. So that's kind of I always like to decide. Sometimes I'll have like in my head what I want to wear, or like how I want to look like the next day. But generally, it's just on the day. So if anyone knows me, they will know that I'm generally fairly late to things, and that is why, because I'm see how I feel. Sometimes, regardless of weather, sometimes I don't even look out the window. But yeah, it's just sort of like kind of more on my mood and sort of what I'm wanting to show off. I have this thing, legs or bust. Sometimes you get more, more one than the other. Sometimes you get everything. But yeah, sort of generally that's kind of when I'm kind of thinking about an outfit and how I want to go out. It will be one or the other. Just to make me sort of feel more comfortable and not too kind of not letting too much loose. And yeah, so that's kind of generally this. Yeah, and we'll sort of try and do a different outfit, a different garment every time that I do this, basically. And then yeah, and then maybe sort of when other people want to come along and they sort of get the gist of it, yeah, kind of come on and talk to them about their clothes, maybe their style and things like that. What have we got in the chat? Yes. I like my dresses with a bit more flexibility around the stuff too. Yeah, definitely. It's so like I've got a really nice dress as well that I made that's in a jersey, a black background, but it's sort of got all flowers over it, and it has a nice knot, so it kind of comes down fairly low, but then it sort of knots over the front and then flows down. And I really like that because it's good for time of the month times, sort of when we kind of our bodies naturally sort of get a bit more bloated for that reason. It's sort of even like when I put on weight during lockdown, I had a lot of friends say that I that I didn't show it and things like that, and it's because I dress to cover it as such, like I kind of try not to sound too up myself, but I dress well in that I hopefully most of the time, obviously there's some things that you kind of look back at all the time that didn't quite work, but generally I will sort of like solely do dresses, solely do skirts in order to kind of cover up when I haven't been able to fit into trousers, because quite frankly I refuse to buy more clothes and to give up all of my lovely ones that I already have. So it's sort of one of those really that I kind of sort of put the hardness on myself, which I've been learning to accept body changes as I progress in age. And certainly sort of after lockdown I went through a big sort of change within myself. So and being a tailor, I also succumb to actually changing clothes and adding in panels and things like that. So because I'm so adamant on not buying new clothes when, you know, like I've got like a wardrobe full, and if I can change it, then I can change it. If there's ones that I can't, then, you know, they're the ones that I'm also learning to let go of. It's a slow process, but yeah, I am getting there. And yeah, avoid the full attention on the body. Yeah, exactly. Like I've been through working at places as well, like especially because I worked at retail for so long, and I think sort of like it gives you a lot of like body image issues, and not only liking how you look, but like how people treat you. And I worked in Selfridges at one point before I went full time in my business, and yeah, there was like someone there that, well, a few people there, older gentlemen who worked in the tailor studio with me, and yeah, they would just give a look that probably every woman has, you know, sort of had. And it's the one time that I really felt uncomfortable with how I dressed, in that I could tell that it was, you know, kind of getting this reaction out of them. And it really annoys me because I dress for how I feel comfortable, and to um, make myself, you know, like sort of it kind of dressing dressing nicely and in nice clothes really makes me happy. I like to sort of like live through my clothes, and kind of that brings up my personality and things like that. So, you know, having people give you attention that just goes over the top, you know, it's sort of like, yeah, like you might wear something because you're like, oh, you know, I look pretty in it, so I want others to think that I look pretty. But there's thinking that someone looks pretty, and there's just staring at them, or there's just like looking them up and down, sort of like every few minutes kind of thing, or, you know, brushing up against someone and things like that. You know, that's when it sort of becomes too much. So yeah, I sort of yeah, it's like sort of that's where the sort of consciousness of how you dress comes in, which is really hard. And yeah, definitely going back to the dresses that hide a few things. Yeah, I want to be able to eat before, during, and after. Exactly, exactly. That's what I'm all about. Um, and yeah, I generally avoid waisted pants, trousers, and skirts because it shows just how long my legs are. Oh, oh, and that garners a lot of attention that I don't like. Yeah, that's the trouble. Is yeah. See, I like a nice high waist, but yeah, I do sort of. It has to be, you know, the right sort of time. Generally, more on holiday that I'll wear something like really short. So like sort of, you know, kind of nice shorts and a shorter skirt. But you know, I have been becoming a bit more sort of a bit braver over the past year in particular with things like that, on like a general sort of kind of day basis. You know, I would say like my legs are like a regular length, sort of like a 32 to 33, 32 to 31 and a half is like generally my sort of leg length. Um, sort of depends where it sits. And yeah, so, you know, sort of like, so I'm kind of like learning, yeah, to sort of get over that and sort of get past that in myself. But I know what you mean. It's sort of particularly like my sister's a lot taller than me, and sort of like, oh sorry, I can tell that if yeah, sort of like she was to wear shorter skirts and things, that it would give her a lot more than maybe what it was me. Um, but yeah, it's you know, sort of the stigma behind women really in general, and it's one that I don't know like when we'll ever get past it. You know, it's really nice to be able to walk down the street now and you know sort of and not hear like you know sort of cars beeping and things like that, white van men, you know sort of like bibbing at girls and things like that walking down the street, because yeah, you know, because then it that you know that only also sort of gives you like anxiety of you know sort of why, like what are they looking at and things like that. So yeah, so it's really nice to sort of see that here in particular that isn't happening, because it doesn't matter that it's not happening to you. You know, you would be anywhere and you would like just hear sort of you know kind of a car tooting at you know a bunch of girls and things like that walking down the street, and it just isn't a thing here anymore. I don't know if it's a thing still anywhere else, but in the UK and in particular in London, it's not a thing. Yeah, which is like really nice, but you know, sort of, it doesn't mean that we still don't get sort of like catcalled and things like that on the street. Though I have like when I've had people sort of do that sort of over sort of like the past few years, because there's been new laws come out saying that things like that is harassment. Yeah, I've actually like turned around to people and sort of said, you know, it's not nice, and actually, you know, sort of you can get fined for it and things like that. It soon makes them stop. Makes them stop, and actually also creates like a bit of a conversation about it. I think like as long as we as women sort of don't say things in a really sort of rude way back, as long as you sort of make it more of a you know like that isn't very nice to do, and just sort of kind of state the facts of it, then yeah, then that sort of generally it should bring about better change in everyone, I think, because I feel like with a lot of issues like that, it's never made any better when it's just you're just sort of having a go back. Um, and yeah, so you know, it's sort of we'll kind of see what else ends up changing. It's been actually interesting. I don't know if you've seen the Barbie movie at all, but it was very interesting going and seeing that, and yeah, and kind of sort of like the reactions of people afterwards. I was expecting a lot more pushback. You know, sort of like after I saw it, because before that I was thinking it was more kidsy, and then I saw it and I was like, okay, you know, like I kind of get what people are saying about it being, you know, very different, obviously, to what you think. But then I've been sort of thinking about it recently and how so many people have embraced the, you know, like sort of dressing up in pink and just kind of the nostalgia of it. But then also seeing it, and you sort of realize how you know it's never, you know, because I feel like sort of since sort of the 90s, like people have looked back and been like, oh, you know, Barbie's so so thin and so, you know, sort of like so exaggerated in many ways. And then, you know, and then sort of like kind of some people have said that that's, you know, girls are dressed provocatively because of things like that. Whereas it isn't like that, you know, it's sort of like Barbie was just, she was her own thing, and this example of how, I don't know, not even an example really, but sort of like a um, just something uplifting, really. You know, sort of, she's never been a like, oh, you know, sort of, I want to be a Barbie. It's just a, oh, you know, like she's got all this sort of cool stuff. She can go and do whatever. You know, I would like recreate the adverts in my garden and things like that. But I never had this thing of like, oh, you know, I want to be like whatever Barbie is. You know, yeah. So I kind of felt like the film sort of I kind of relived that in a way. You know, this sense of, yeah, she's sort of like just a doll, but it was nice to see obviously the iteration since where it is, you know, sort of she's a vet, she's a whatever. Um, and yeah, sorry, that was like a weird tangent. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like sort of there's a lot of people like will kind of say all these things like, oh, you know, sort of, even like with sort of Britney, you know, when she first came out, and it's like, oh, you know, you're this sort of girls I look up to and all this, and it's like, no, like people don't look up to people in terms of like, oh, you know, sort of how they dress and things like that. I think that's more of a thing now, um, where, you know, where like you have like the Kardashians and things like that, where people were like, oh, you know, I want to like buy into their brand. Whereas I think back in sort of like Barbie, it was you know, sort of like the 90s. It was never like that. You were just like, I want that toy. So it's just about the toy. It's not about anything that that toy represents. It's not even the looks I mind. I learned to ignore them a long time ago. I like being able to live my life uninterrupted by people feeling entitled to my attention. Absolutely, that's 100% where I feel like with it as well. I love the people being upset. That it's not just a cute doll movie without the message. Yeah, exactly. You know, it's sort of like, I think it's so important having the message that it does. And it literally, like, my heart sunk when like it's like Ken's world and things like that. But I do think it also sort of throws up this thing of, you know, where do the Kens sleep, and you know, sort of like what is happening with the Kens. And I think that's the only way that we're gonna um, be more feminist is, you know, sort of like I've had this conversation with people before, and it's sort of this thing of, right, women get maternity, but where's the men's equivalent? You know, that men get paternity now, but actually it's a lot shorter time. And really, you know, if we're going to do equality, then it's sort of it needs to be like equal across the board. And I think that's when we'll get more, you know, sort of like it's not just about pay being equal, it's about the job role being equal. It's about, you know, sort of in work, in life, and things like that. And sort of like the catcalling and things like that goes just in the same way. You know, it's sort of you just want to, like you say, sort of like just live your life without like thinking about what other people are thinking or are going to do. You know, it's yeah, it's all relative in a way, and yeah, and it's something that I really want to see, and in particular, sort of with so my business, well, before doing my business, I did my degree in menswear design, and it wasn't until I'd done sort of my dad was the one that suggested menswear to me, and it wasn't until I started looking into it that I was then so enamored by the thought of sort of men expressing themselves in the same way that women do with clothes. And it's sort of the more that I've kind of worked in sort of menswear and with men, is understanding like how they shop and sort of and why they shop and things like that. You know, and they buy just as much as women. They just don't do it on sort of like a weekly basis. You know, they'll do it sort of like per season kind of thing. So they do really care about what they're wearing, but I just want to see more variety for them, really. So that's kind of what I do anytime like I sort of design something for someone, I think of colour, pattern, and drape and style and things like that. Although I'm not a draper necessarily, I'm more of a structured tailor. But you know, it's all that kind of sort of how's it going to sit on the body, and how's it going to be worn and used and things like that. Um, and yeah, and then I kind of sort of think back to like um, in sort of the Edwardian, Victorian, all that sort of eras where men were more flamboyant with things, and would have like the ruffles and the like frilly sleeves and things like that. And I just think, not the sort of, I get, like not every guy wants to be walking around like that. Not that that's what I want, but I just want to, yeah, I just think, sort of men serve colour and pattern too. And as anyone from the SBTV community will know about the gentlemen that wear the Hawaiian shirts, and and then sort of anyone else, like men really like a check, and you kind of sort of think of like the check coming from the oh, forget the word now, plaids and things of sort of the Scottish and Irish and even Welsh check walls and things like that, and like the multiple different colours that they have in them and things like that. There is they do think, men do think about colour and pattern and things like that. Yeah, it's just a shame that sort of like no one really does it, and in particular the one thing that always gets me, which was being spoken about the other day actually on Nora's channel, about wearing black, and I know like they have their own reasons for not wanting to wear it, but why is unisex clothing always bland sort of colours like blacks, greys, navy, sort of, I'm sure like anyone that wants to wear unisex, it doesn't matter who they are, why can't they have some colour? So that's something else that I'm yeah, sort of I kind of cook up every now and then in my mind. I'm never gonna like make a whole range of things, but yeah, I do want to sort of make some bits and kind of promote that it can be for anyone. But yeah, just sort of brighten up a bit really. Um, And yeah, so that's my little rant really. Um, but yeah, I think that's all we'll kind of maybe go into tonight. Sort of a short one. I've had quite a long week, so another comment down there. Seem to have a talent for wearing shades of beige, it seems. Yeah, exactly. I just think, there could be some more pops of colour. Um, and yeah, you know, just to bring out some personality and sort of, I just think sort of there's a because even sort of like t-shirts, like they're all always just navy or black and things like that. And I just think and it might have like a design on, but what's that? So yeah, so I don't know. I keep trying sort of pushing these out to people. Um, but uh, but yeah, so maybe we will call it a night unless anyone's got any other comments about their favourite garments. But yeah, this has been like really nice. And I want to do so next week is like another chocolate week. But I might squeeze. I don't know because I'm going for a walk on Monday, so I don't know what time I'll get back, to be honest. So I'll probably just do the craft stream. But yeah, I'll see. Maybe I'll do something tomorrow, sort of afternoon, because I do really want to also do some streams on. There's kind of some lawsuits around like Shein and H&M and things like that. So I really want to, do some streams, kind of breaking that down in whatever way I can as a non-lawyer. I've learned a few tips through BJ, that surprise witness. So yeah, so I might look into doing that and maybe do that tomorrow because it's meant to be quite rainy and horrible here tomorrow, so that would be a good day to do that. If not, then I'll do it sort of like the week after maybe. But yeah, I click on the notification bell and you will be notified hopefully. But it will probably be about 8 o'clock maybe tomorrow. If I do it, and yeah, so we'll go see how that goes. So Sophie says, I love my salmon dress for the colour alone. Oh, I do like a good salmon colour, which actually I've got some new yarn here, which if you can tell it's got some nice little dashes of pink. I want to knit some jumpers for myself. And then I've got a really nice salmon colour. I think it's really showing up in the best way. But it's a really, really nice salmon. So yeah, and I've got a really vibrant pink as well, which was a jumper that I was making last year. This is like sari silk that's being cut up. So yeah, that with some pink wool that I'm gonna make a knit a jumper out of. Not that I'm the best knitter, but I started it last Christmas of 2020, and it has been sat around for all that time. And then earlier on this year, I took it apart to start again because I realised that I'd knitted it quite tight. So then I was going to need like so much wool. So I've taken it apart and I'm going to knit it with I've got a slightly wide, bigger needles. These ones. And 8mm needles. Yeah, so I'm going to knit it on that and see how big I can make it. I keep thinking about like, do I wrap it in cardboard to make it even wider? Because what I really want is in those like really chunky needles. So yeah, so we'll kind of see how that goes. But I'll probably do that, start that on Monday's craft session, as well as finish my painting of Jesus on a dinosaur. That's gonna have an even better twist to it. So yeah, so I think I'm gonna call that a night. And yeah, hopefully get an early night for myself, so that I can yeah, catch up. Oh, sorry, on my sleep from this week, because yeah, it's been so hectic. So yeah, lovely to chat with you all and see you, and yeah, and talk clothes. My you know, one of my passions. So yeah, so I will. Yeah, I want to do this like maybe like a Wednesday night stream, a Tuesday or Wednesday, I think. Just because yeah, I can't always guarantee that I'll be around on a Friday. But yeah, so sort of kind of, yeah, we'll kind of test what day is the best. And I'll probably again sort of do it maybe about sort of like a 9 o'clock start. Yeah, because 9:30 is quite late still. And yeah, so see you. Get my heart in there, right? See you later. Enjoy the weekend. It's bank holiday weekend here. I don't know if anyone else has bank holiday. So I'm going to get a couple of hikes in. And yeah, and rest up. So see you later. Bye.